Deconverted Man here. I was watching this video where people were reacting to other videos, and one of them said that it's important that YouTubers share personal hardships that they've had so that other people that look up to them or admire them or what have you can relate to that and can interact with that and maybe understand themselves better or feel better about themselves in some way. Now, I don't know if anyone admires me or anything, and I really don't care, because the argument for me is what matters. Either I have an argument that's valid or I don't. That's my adherence to logic. I'm glad that people enjoy what I do and my content and interact with it and interact with me. And I hope that they continue to enjoy it and that other people will enjoy it and so on and so forth. But having said all that, I have no idea whether or not me sharing personal hardships will help anybody or not. But thinking about the idea that it could potentially maybe help somebody in some way that I have no idea about, then it seems a good idea to do that. So that was a long explanation. So I want to share with you some of my personal hardships that I've dealt with, what I thought about it maybe at the time, and what I think about it now, and how I got myself through those ordeals. This one will just focus on OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, and this is a thing in your brain. And the way that I kind of think about it is a loop that's just stuck, and you cannot get out of the loop, or at least it feels like you can't get out of the loop. And it's not rational, it's not reasonable, and it's not like people. It feels like people outside of you don't understand what it's like to be in that. You feel completely trapped, like physically trapped in the thing, in the situation. And going outside of it or trying to not do it is insanely anxious. That is not even the best way to describe it. It is as if you're going to walk off of a bridge and fall to your death. Basically, the sensation that you would imagine feel upon realizing that you're suddenly falling to your death, that is the level of anxiety that can be caused by trying to break out of these loops. So, when I was younger, I experienced a number of these. I'll focus on a few specific ones, I suppose. For me, there was counting. That's a common one to have. And the thing is, I can remember somewhat of starting the process, but and it seeming like a good idea at the time. So at some point before I went to sleep, I thought, that the day I had was really good. And I wanted to somehow make that day happen again. Like, not make the entire day, loop or whatever, but to have a good day the next day. So I thought if I blinked a certain amount of times, like the more I blink, if it's a bad day, then it won't happen again. But if I blink a certain small amount of time, and it was a good day. So I would blink, 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 and I would do like 10 sets. I would count to 10 of blinking, and then I would do like 10 sets of 10. So 10 times 10, is 10 times 100. Yeah, I know the math. And then that was a good day. So if the day was bad, I could get upwards to 20. What was it? I think one time I did 100 sets of 10. So I was just blinking and blinking and blinking until I let myself stop, until the sets were over, and then I went to sleep. And it made sense. Like, it really made sense that this somehow would alter reality. That somehow blinking gave me some sort of control over the next day. It's simply not true. Looking back, I know that's not true. At the time, I don't know that I knew that it wasn't true, but it made me feel better about the next day. And then at the end of the day, it made me feel like, okay, if the day was good, I rated the day. It felt like, okay, I did something about what I feel about this day. So that made it, even if it was a bad day, it kind of made it like, it's okay that it's a bad day, because tomorrow won't be a bad day, because I'll blink it away. I'll make it go away by doing that. How did I get out of that? That's a big question. What I did was I decided that, I don't know how I decided this, but I thought that, well, if there was, I think it was, something had to happen that would make me not do it. Like, I think I said to myself that when I get a girlfriend, I'm not going to do this anymore, or something like that. And so I think that even before I actually got a girlfriend, I did stop doing it. But I know for sure that the moment I had a girlfriend, it was like immediately gone. I didn't do it anymore. But I'm pretty sure it actually happened before that. So, I think there would have been, or could have been, a better way to get out of that. Just giving myself, like, a goal to reach that's not impossible to reach, and then reaching that goal, that makes it that I can now get rid of this stuff. But the problem is, with OCD, is it's a way your brain kind of works, so even though I got rid of that, that doesn't mean that the whole thing is gone. There's other things that can emerge if I don't watch out for the patterns of what OCD does. Another example would be that I have is when I open the fridge, the shadow line that's cast by the fridge door as it opens. For whatever reason, I decided that I had to step over that line when you open the door, and if my foot was on the ground and the shadow crossed my foot, oh man, that was bad, and now I have to step over it like a certain amount of times to make up for it, to fix it, because something bad would happen if I didn't do that. Yeah, and I know that sounds, if you've never dealt with OCD, what bad thing could happen? Nothing bad will happen. Nothing. It's not reasonable. Exactly. It's not rational. It's not reasonable. But your brain tells you that if you don't do this, doom is imminent. That it is just it's the end of everything. And worse than the end of everything. It's just, you feel like you have to do it. And you feel like you can't not do it. That if you don't do it, you will just feel horrible. And your brain even tells you, like, you will feel even worse throughout the day, and it will never go away, and you'll never stop feeling bad. So you might as well do this. And then when you give in, you get a dopamine kick. So your brain feeds you positive feeling when you do the thing. So it gets addictive. I honestly can't recall how I got out of that, other than I think that it was just a matter of, like, when we moved, I think that I decided that this other fridge was different, and so it didn't count or something like that. But it was really hard to overcome, and I wish I could remember the exact formula or whatever I used to get rid of it. But that seemed to be kind of the pattern of these patterns for me, was that either it was being done all the time or not at all. So it was, between doing it and just not doing it. With other OCD stuff that I've had, I have done like a step down thing where it's like I'll do it a little bit less, and that worked to make it to eventually I'm not doing it at all. So the one I found on YouTube was one I wouldn't want to try to do on my own, but could work, and I've seen it, that it works as far as actual data goes, and that's they make the person do the thing that they don't want to do, which is just horrible seeming. But it's an aversion. It's like you get used to feeling the anxiety, and eventually the part of your brain that produces the anxiety gets tired of producing the anxiety, and so it finally just kind of gives up on doing it. But I mean, my word, that has to be like the worst way to go about it, I would think. I don't know, because I haven't never tried that. I don't want to do that on my own. If I was going to do it, be with guided with somebody, because I'm not going to do it on my own. It's just, I don't know. I don't think I would. Maybe I could do it, but it'd be, I don't know. I haven't dealt with OCD in a while. That's not quite true. Because the thing is still always there. So there will be if I see a painting on the wall and it's crooked, I'll want to fix it. Certain things really bother me that shouldn't, and other things that should bother me don't. So in that sense, it's still there. The remnants of it are always there, and I will every now and then find that I'm checking the lock to make sure it's locked, even though I locked it and I know it's locked, and I'm like, nope, no, don't do that, because it's just gonna, kick into a loop, or a potential loop. So it's like, I know it's locked, I don't need to check it, and that's done, for some people it's cleanliness. It just depends. It varies. It's not, you can't just say it's this one thing. And like a lot of mental illnesses or mental disorders or diseases, or however you want to classify it, the people on the outside, it's hard to relate because you've never had to deal with it. At the same time, I think that you can knock over the heater and then turns on. This is the best video ever. I'm going to leave that in. I'm not going to restart this video. Yeah, let me just go ahead and yeah, that was good. So that should wake you up if you weren't awake. I put my foot to sleep, so I had to move it, and then I knocked over my heater. Anyways, so yeah, OCD sucks. The thing that I guess I thought about it at the time was that I didn't know what it was, But once I learned its name, I think that helped a lot to understand what it was. So I don't understand that why anybody wouldn't just tell me what it was. I hope that psychology has advanced since I was young, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it has, and maybe they do tell people now, because I had seen a couple psychologists or therapists or whatever they were, and it's like, well, they knew what it was, they wrote it down. I have the records of where they wrote it down, so now I know, but they didn't tell me at the time that I had this, or that I could have this. Why not? Was keeping it from me part of the treatment plan or something? I don't understand that. I think it's better that the patient knows what the thing is and can label it so that they can better... If you understand something, you can better attack it. It's not as scary anymore. But at some point I learned OCD, I think on my own, and I was like, oh, that's what I have. That's it. And so understanding it and knowing it does, I think, help. I don't know that it really does help, but it helped me at any rate. What would I say to somebody that has it, other than I know what that feels like? I guess I would say that the different methods of getting rid of it, I don't know if my system would work for you, in that, it's just like set up a goal you can reach, and then when you reach that goal, it goes away. Just tell yourself it's gonna go away. See if that works. But it's gotta be a goal that you can achieve, but maybe it has to be one that is difficult, perhaps. But maybe not. I really don't know. I haven't, played with it a lot, or experimented a lot with my own brain, if you will. But, the goals that I had set for myself were, not too far off. But I do think that it'd be better to set goals that don't require other humans, per se. Like, maybe it could just be finishing a project or something. But then, of course, what happens then if you become OCD about finishing the project? Well, fine, then the project will get done, and then you say, aha, all the other ones are gone, and now this is done, so that one's gone. But of course, it's still gonna be with you, and you have to be aware of it, and you have to be kind of on guard that it's not, that something doesn't become a thing. It's like, that's a thingy, that's gonna become a thing. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna turn on and off the light. I'm not doing it. It's not gonna start. And that's the end of that. Another one that I had that is quite common, that I've read that's very common, is flicking your hands. So when I would wash my hands, I would like flick them, and then that just like became like, instead of just doing it once and then that's it, it'd be like, doing it a certain amount of times. So OCD is essentially like any action that you're doing a lot, that it bothers you to do it. You don't want to do it, but you do it anyways. I'm not looking for any sort of sympathy or any sort of, wow, good job for getting through that or whatever. No, I don't. Words of sympathy or encouragement, I do not need. You can give them if you want. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. I'm just wanting people to know. It's like, the only thing I'm trying to do with this video is, to say, look, I've dealt with this, I've gotten through it, I've gotten as over it as you can get. And if you're in that situation, maybe knowing that I got through it might help you to feel like you can get through it. I don't know. I have no idea, if this will help anybody or not. But it's just that video that I saw where the person said what they said, and I was like really struck by that. And I thought, there's a lot of things I've dealt with in my life, and am still dealing with that somebody out there might need to hear about, and to say, hey, it's okay. It's okay to deal with that. It's okay to have that. So, there you go. That's all I've got for now. Don't have a way to end this video. Like, there's no saying that I can give, so just best to you and yours always.